It's the No Motivation Podcast with Xhermp, Lemon, Jake, and Twice. We're back with episode 4 here of the fall 2018 seasonal anime. We're going to be trying to pump these out as quickly as possible for real this time. Like, I'm going to be going with or without people.
We sorry we made you wait. Like we sorry we pulled a Half-Life.
Yeah, Half-Life 4? Yeah, episode 4. Well, at least we made it further than Valve did. But
Ooh.
we're talking about the episode 4 for the fall 2018 season anime. We know we're pretty far behind, but we're trying to catch up as fast as we can before it gets to the end of most of the one core shows. We had a comment last week actually from I'm Not Lizard that said that he wanted timestamps for things. I think it popped up and then I couldn't find it in the comments.
That would
afterwards.
actually be nice, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll in the description below each title I'll have timestamps for each anime and I'll put it in the comments also.
Also, there are links to our social medias in the description. Please follow me on Twitter. I say nothing, but I do retweet some funny things.
Yeah. Same goes for everybody else here. And follow, subscribe, etc., etc. Except on Twitch, because that costs money.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you want on Twitch.
So you guys know what you got to do. You got to smash that subscribe.
And anyway, with that kind of like
in the like section.
With that kind of introductory stuff. By the way, I'm Not a Lizard. I don't think anybody knows who that is. So we got somebody that's not from just our circle of friends that watch the podcast. That's pretty interesting.
Don't you know
Nice.
He's not a lizard?
He's not a lizard.
It must have been so attracted by the title. Sakurai gets shot.
Sakurai gets shot. What's my motivation? Or Schrodinger's hymen. Some great episode titles. So
what is my character arc?
That would be the name of this episode, actually. What is my character arc? So, episode 4 of all the seasonal anime stuff. We're switching up the roles a little bit here since a lot of us talk about the same type of anime each week. So I think Xhermp is starting off here.
Yeah, actually, just forgive me because it's been so long since I've watched this, and I'm going off very roughly written notes.
Dude, just look up the wiki page.
I actually did. That's what I did. So I'm on fandom.
So Xhermp starting off with Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah. All right. Should I go? All
Yep.
right. So Mai's puberty syndrome was resolved finally. Clap, clap, clap. Basically, Sakata, they have a pleasant lunch together in school, but while doing so, Mai is like, to Sakata is like, hey, I got a new job starting July in drama. He's like, Nani? So he's like, hey, let's get into a relationship, and she's like, all right, fine. But then after that, basically little bit of stuff happens, just a little bit.
It Groundhog Days.
Yeah, it just starts Groundhog Daying. Like it's just like what was the day that it starts repeating? It's July 27th.
Yep,
there it is. So July 27th just keeps repeating itself and repeating itself day after day, and the only solution that he's found is to not ask out Mai on that day, and that's a problem for him.
Yeah, it wasn't that directly, but it was more. It was more like it had to do with another girl, but it wasn't him directly.
Yeah,
having to...
basically, the science girl is like, you have to find Laplace's demon or something.
God, I love
right?
Science Girl.
And okay, and basically she's like, just look for the person who doesn't repeat. And he's like, look for the person who doesn't repeat. That could take ages. And then like a few minutes later, he runs into this girl who wasn't acting the same yesterday. And that girl is named
Tomoe.
Mary Shelley.
Her first name is Tomoe.
Tomoe? All right.
I don't know what her last name is, but yeah, Tomoe is her first.
Tomoe? All right. Basically, they try to like form some sort of plan of like, hey, how are we gonna get out of this? Ending up like this guy has been asking out Tomoe every like cycle of the day, and she's kind of avoiding him now. So they end up hiding under this like little podium, teacher's podium area, right? And after the guy comes and leaves, they like fall over, and then he comes back and sees like Tomoe on top of Sakuta, and it's like, oh, I see. This is the kind of guy you're into. And then Mai walks in, and then
Big oof.
and then he just looks up and with a straight face says, "This is a misunderstanding." And
No, this is wrong. I did not mean to do this,
I did not mean to. Oh no. Uh,
Pulled a
and
sneaky on ya.
and um the girl Tomoe is like, hey, now there's rumors spreading around school that we're like together and stuff. Can we please keep this rumor going? I forget her reasoning behind why she wanted to do that though.
So the guy wouldn't ask her out again.
Oh yeah. And then it's kind of yeah, she's just like, oh yeah, let's keep this going, see where it goes.
Oh,
Little bit of what happens. I again, I haven't watched this in a long time.
okay.
Yeah, but a little bit more. I just want to say
Okay.
that Tomo began working at the restaurant Sakuta is employed in, and then a bunch of girls are like, "Hey, you guys are dating, right?" And just that happens. After Sakuta arrives home, he finds Mai waiting in front of his doorsteps, asking him why he hasn't given her an explanation yet. And that's it.
Yeah, that was a very rough synopsis, but yeah.
Apologies.
But it's all right.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since I think people
Yeah,
have
it
seen
has.
episodes.
I'll be
So
better next time.
but yeah, that's kind of roughly what happened. And I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a step up in quality from this episode from the last one. I feel like it's still a very good show. I just feel like it hasn't topped the last episode, which is a very good episode, into this episode, at least in my opinion. I like the idea of like the Groundhog Day things, and it was a really fun like little thing that was happening. You had to find the person that it's like Groundhog Day, and he was like going through like asking Maya out over and over again, and he like had a shortcut to like ask her out, so he would get an answer out of her quickly.
When it comes to visual stuff, my short-term memory is very good. So the moment like before he even realized like things were repeating, I just saw like his sister sitting on the couch and like heard the audio, and I'm like from the TV, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm like, these bitches are Groundhog Day.
There were some funny lines in this episode too. Like when the fucking dude walks in on them inside the classroom on top of each other. He's like, "Yeah, you have a bad taste in men," is what he says. I think before he leaves. And then that was one of the funnier lines. It has been a while, so I don't remember every single line from the episode that caught my attention. But that was one of the few. But yeah, I was kind of indifferent to the episode as a whole.
This episode was a big ol' meh. I didn't really love it. It definitely kind of broke the streak that the show had been going on.
Yeah. I think the first 3 episodes of this show are fucking amazing.
Could be a goddamn movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, apparently they are making a movie for another arc for a different person coming out next year in 2019.
This show's never gonna end.
I don't know if that's a bad thing, at least so far.
Gonna have like multiple seasons.
For me, this wasn't Goblin Slayer levels of like, oh, where are we going from here? It was more like they're just setting up another arc, and they're not doing it as well as the last one. So
I hate plots where it's like, oh no, that's not what I meant at all. Instead of actually reasonably discussing it, I'm just gonna run away.
Well, I don't know if that was exactly what happened. I didn't feel like it kind of. It felt very self-aware with the trope that was happening. Because it wasn't something like when like Maya walked into the room, like Sakta was all of a sudden like, oh no, you don't understand, this is something wrong, and like she like storms off, and she's like, oh, I don't want to ever see you again, Baka, or some bullshit like that. It was a little bit more like, hey, this isn't what it looks like, and she's like, all right, well, I'm angry for right now, so just give me some space. And then later on, she's like, all right, well, why the fuck didn't you follow up afterwards, jackass? When like at the end of the episode she comes to his door. So I don't think it really fell into that type of trap, but I think it was doing that like plot point definitely.
Now, for me, the episode itself, it didn't really heighten in quality. Heighten, is that a word?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's a word.
But it didn't really. It lowered in quality only very slightly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It just didn't like it as much as episode 3, but I still very much enjoyed it.
It was more of a plateau, maybe a slight little dip in quality a little bit. But they're just setting up other stuff, so I don't know. Well, we just have to wait until the arc, I guess, progresses. But yeah, definitely.
I mean, it already has.
Definitely, yeah, it's gone through a lot. I wonder if this can be. Well, you know what? I'm just not gonna say anything, but because yeah, actually, this is the last episode that I've watched before I stopped for y'all, so y'all could catch up also. And then we could watch together. But I wonder if this is gonna be like a further on arc type thing. Anyways, I don't know. I'm indifferent. Doesn't suck. It wasn't great. It was just meh, like Twice said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts. Twice. Are you still meh?
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it this episode. But I hope the quality ups again because I like this show. I like the characters.
Yeah. I think the best thing that the show has going for it definitely as on another anime type podcast, I like listening to some of the stuff about people talking about like the seasonal stuff. On another one, they were also saying that like, and I agree with this, is that the best part of the show is Mai and Sakata's relationship, and I think just like the
Call
banter
them
that
out.
goes between them.
Call those fuckers out. Who are you quoting right now?
Well, that was from a little boy, a boy podcast. Sea Tactics is the channel. He does that with his other two people, Everything Animated and Satsuki the Savage. That's a pretty cool anime podcast too. I think they're doing only 2 more episodes, so they're not going through with the full season with the 2 core shows, like Slime, and they're doing another anime called Karakuri Circus. But anyways, I digress. That's where it came from. But yeah, I agree with that sentiment pretty much wholly. That Mai and Sakata's relationship is one of the best things this show has going. At least character-wise, I think that the plot and everything is still pretty good. But like the characters, I think their relationship is the best out of everybody.
Yeah, Science Girl is definitely the best part of the show, like you said.
Yeah. Actually, I was introduced in this episode to my favorite girl, who is Tomoe. So there we go.
Tomoe.
Yeah, but can she do math? No.
She was actually the girl that he kicked in the butt earlier on in the series.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody caught
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Sure.
So she was
Sure,
already
he kicked her in-
introduced then.
He kicked her in the butt, but
Yeah,
can
but she's
she
my
do
favorite now
science?
because I've learned more about her. Best girl.
Science girl, dude.
Yeah,
Science
Xhermp just wants a girl he can kick in the ass.
they'll let him kick
Fuck
her in the
yeah.
ass. Yeah. So I'm meh. Twice as meh. Xhermp.
I'm as well meh.
Meh all around. All right, that's pretty conclusive. Next up, we have Gobbo Slayer.
Conclusive meh.
Yeah, conclusive meh. Next up, we have Gobbo Slayer, which
Yep.
Oh, speaking of meh,
well, for me, this episode wasn't very meh, but I'll try to keep my opinion out of the synopsis. So Goblin Slayer, this episode, they go into the little goblin mansion type thing, goblin ruins that they went into last episode. They find another elf girl. Well, they found an elf girl, not another elf girl, because they haven't found one previously, that was being banged by the goblins and such, and she was all strung up. They cut her loose, rescue her. They go deeper into the ruins. There's a big old ogre bad guy, and Goblin Slayer gets fucked up a little bit. There's a bunch of sleeping goblins that they also kill before the ogre pops up. Goblin Slayer takes a couple potions, like, yo, I'm good. Let's fuck up this ogre, and uses a scroll of teleportation, which teleports like a high stream of water from under the ocean.
And just turns into a blade.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense though, because like,
I mean, we'll talk about water blades in the next one. Like,
it makes sense because under like at the bottom of the ocean, the high pressure and the water, and then you release all that pressure, and then it comes out. But they kill the ogre boy, and Goblin Slayer's like, I don't care about you, you're not a goblin, so just get out of my way. And he acts all offended, everything like that. And the episode ends with them leaving the ruins after they cleared it out, and Elf Girl's like, yo, I'm gonna take you on a real adventure one day, Goblin Slayer, so you can have some feelings. and not act like a robot that is built to kill and destroy goblins.
You did forget to mention my favorite part of this episode, which
Well-
was the fact that Goblin Slayer pulled a sneaky on you.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, well, like, because like that's like a plot point that we could just talk about within the discussion instead of just having that in the synopsis. Which is why I was just doing a brief synopsis and skipping over a lot of things.
All right. So
Um,
what I was talking about is that the girl who was tied up, the elf girl, she just starts like mumbling "kill," and he's just like, "I understand," and then the priest girl's like, "No, no, no, Jesus Christ, no!" And then and then a goblin steps into frame, and she just goes, "Kill that thing," and it's like, "See, I pulled a sneaky on you."
Yeah, he's like, yo, I'm only here to kill goblins. I don't know what y'all are thinking. And then he's like, yeah. I don't know. I thought that this episode was a little bit more of a return to form for Gobbo Slayer. I think that there's a lot more Gobbo slang, like the title says. And we got
actual goblin slang.
yeah, and we got some teamwork between everybody, and then we got a big old ogre slang too. Which the ogre was very fucking strong. He had like that fireball spell and shit that was like almost that was breaking like their protection, and like she had to cast it 2 times, or priestess had to cast protection 2 times and shit to keep the fireball back.
Yeah. Didn't they like slice at both of his eyes or something? They like blinded him.
Yeah, I think Elf Girl shot both of his eyes out, but then
Elf Girl shot one of his eyes, then Goblin Slayer I think took out the other one with the sword or something.
But they just regenerated afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. The scroll thing with like the big water blade cutting the ogre in half and everything. I was like, oh, that was neat. That was good.
Flashback to like when he was asking girl for.
Yeah, that was a good payoff for when Wizard Girl was like, hey, I gave him a scroll. He asked me for a scroll this one time, and I helped him with it.
She seemed pretty useless up until now. So.
And I want to know how the hell she got a teleportation scroll to the bottom of the ocean, but that's besides the point, I guess. Yeah, this is a pretty fun episode. I think that the teamwork, definitely seeing what the party can do and everything. Like Lizard Boy can make like a bone warrior and shit.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The dwarf can he has like spits his alcohol at everywhere. It's like a spell and it makes him sleepy and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When he did that, I half expected him to like set it on fire and just have like a mouth flamethrower.
I generally dug this episode. It was nothing special, but like I didn't hate it. It was just okay.
Yeah, we came back around to what made this show pretty fun, which is just killing some goblins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really expect more of it either because I mean it's in the title, it's Goblin Slayer, and I have read ahead a little bit in the manga. My bad.
Wink, wink.
I just really like the fucking art, and it's just it's Gobbo slang. That's what the title says it is.
I mean, it's action. It's awesome.
Yeah, we get some fucking Gobbo slaying, and a little bit of an ogre thrown in there, which Goblin Slayer aptly was like, "You're what are you? Are you supposed to be a goblin or something?" He's like, "No, I'm an ogre." He's like, "Oh, I don't care. Can you move so I can kill more goblins?" And yeah, yeah, this is fun. It definitely upped my opinion of the show. And I'm enjoying it more. I hope that we get more of this type of thing, Gobbo slang. That's pretty much it. I mean, not much else happened in this episode.
Yeah, it was whatever.
Yeah. It appealed to its actual like what made the show interesting, and that's great.
Yeah.
We finally see what this show can do, and it's fun. It's good fun.
We also did get to see that Goblin Slayer wasn't like an immortal badass and shit too, because he got fucked up by the ogre a little bit.
Oh
there
yeah.
At the but some potions, and he's like, "Yo, I'm back on my feet." So yeah, this is an alright from me. I'm like, hey,
I really wanted to see her like try to take off his helmet, and then he just like wakes up instantly and just smacks her hand away. He's like, no.
I'll just say that they don't really ever show his face. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an alright return to form a little bit for the show, and some interesting stuff happened, action and such. It's pretty fun. What do you think, Twice?
What the? Twice is evolving. He actually enjoyed an episode of Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, I know it's been a hot minute since we were able to do that.
And speaking of evolving,
Well, before we get into
Twice just
that,
got a new icon, biznitch.
oh yeah, you did. I guess I'll have to add that into
Yes.
the thing along with my updated
And
icon.
Twice is also evolved into Nightwing. Wink. Please change my name.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely change that. But okay, what did you think, Xhermp?
Honestly, comparatively, now this is comparatively, all right. I loved it. Comparatively.
Xhermp's gay for Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, dude, I want some of that.
All right. Well, now I think it's kind of again a conclusive type of or kind of like a verdict on the show. It's all right. It's fun. It's a little bit of
I'll give it one thumbs up out of
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, sure.
You have 2 thumbs. You don't have any
Two-
more than 2 thumbs.
You don't know that.
I'll give it 1 red letter media reference out of 10.
Well, speaking of thumbs and lack thereof, we have that time I got reincarnated as a slime up next. That was
Nice.
a shitty segue, but hey. So
Good job.
Xhermp will be taking over the reins for this
Hi.
synopsis.
Yeah, speaking of furries, Xhermp, do it.
Wow. Rimuru has set out on an adventure along with a handful of wolves and goblins. Strike up a friendship with some dwarves. Yup.
Yeah.
Basically, he heads to Dwargon and hopes of constructing proper structures and clothing for the village and stuff like that. But en route, Rimuru is made aware of a demon lord by Rigger. Rigger's like, hey, there's a demon lord that exists. And he's commanding numerous lieutenants, is the word I have written down, apparently. Numerous lieutenants. He's seen as a general threat to everyone. And Slime comments, he's like, sounds like trouble. Make it double. Rimuru's like, hey Ranga. Ranga's like, hey Rimuru. He's asking if he contemplates revenge. He's like, hey, do you want to kill me because I killed your father? He's like, yeah, sometimes, but we're completely loyal to you because you gave us names and stuff.
Hashtag Xhermp is a furry.
Yep. What else? Basically, normally a 2-month journey was complete in 3 days thanks to the wolves. That's some 2-day shipping, 3-day
That's
shipping.
a lot of damage.
He's waiting in line to enter the city of Dwargon, I think it was called. Yeah.
Yep.
And basically, there's some guys like trying to cause trouble, and they're like, "What could a little slime like you do?" Is like, "Ho ho ho! Let me show you my true form," and just turns into a larger version of, what was his face? Ranga. It is, and he just starts like they start attacking him. It just all bounces off of him. He just starts yelling extremely loudly, and then what's the voice in his head called? Like
Great
the
Sage.
Great Sage just starts like giving him damage reports. It's like 50 injured, 20 dead. It's like, okay, thanks. Sure enough, Reamer's account is confirmed by the witnesses. Yup. And he was set free. Uh and he's like he made a bunch of I think he made the potion. Did he make the potion that was in the barrel or did
Yes.
he? Yeah, he made it. Okay, he's like, here's some potion. Use it. And basically it like saved all the dwarves' lives and they're like, yeah, you can go. He Rimuru finds out about this like really good blacksmith that he could get a bunch of armor from. Because that's what he asked for his like one wish from from the jail boy. Basically he's taken to this blacksmith place and the blacksmith's like, "Oh, I would help you, but I got like 50 of these swords to make." Rimuru's like, "All right, if I give you materials, will you make it?" He's like, "I'll try." He gives him like a bunch of like a really rare material, right? He's like, "All right, I'll get to work on this." Then he has an idea. He's like, "You've already made a sword, right?" This is actually my favorite part because it's just a cool use of the ability. Um, he just he just eats the sword, right? And then just starts like popping out copies of the sword. And then the blacksmith is able to get to work on the armor. I don't have much else written down, sadly. Yeah, I don't really have much
Okay.
written down.
To
Sorry.
try to salvage this.
I'm
Whew.
sorry.
Salvaging the disaster.
Yeah, that was a lot more rough than Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah.
I'll give a short, quick summary here, just for everybody if they weren't following along. But Rimuru goes to Dorgan to try to get some dwarf artisans to help him out with his village. He's dreaming about some elf girls. He's like, "Yo, I want some elf girls," because he learns from Rigor that they're gonna be there. He like clarifies with Ranga their relationship, and they find out that they're cool with each other.
How did I forget about the elf girls? All right.
They get to the armed nation of Dorgan. And they're waiting in line to get into the place. They get into a brawl with some novice adventurers, which I almost said Ranga, which Rimuru ends up dealing with by turning into a giant version of the Star Wolf, which is what Ranga is, and then using Shout to like intimidate all of them, which some people piss their pants and everything. And he gets arrested for it aptly. And he only gets released once he actually helps out the dwarfs, because their mine like collapsed and there's like an Armorsaurus inside there, and they need health potions for the miners. And he helps them out with some health potions that he kept inside of him from the cave when he ate all those herbs. He gets let out. He finds this dwarf artisan that's really good at his job called Kaijin, who's apparently very notorious for making weapons and armor and such. Helps him out with making a bunch of swords that a minister called Vesta ordered him to make. Which apparently is something that Vesta knew that he couldn't do, but ordered him to do it anyways. So he kind of got like this like antagonist type setup thing going on here. And Rimuru does it. He submits the swords, and the episode ends off with them celebrating at a bar, which has elf girls in it. And Rimuru is very happy. And the episode kind of like ends off with a little bit of a cliffhanger as we see somebody stepping towards the bar in a very menacing way. With Rimuru saying that all good things can't last forever.
See, that summary that you just did just made me realize how bad I am at formulating English sentences.
It's all good. It's the episode, it was like people watched it a while ago. I'm usually good at retaining these types of things.
Yeah, you rewatched it, didn't you?
I skimmed through it, and then I got everything that happened in the episode again.
Yeah. Okay. See, I didn't do that.
So yeah, that was the short little 2-part synopsis we had going on there. I'll definitely leave separate timestamps for each one just in case.
If you want to see the funny one, go to Xhermp's. If you want to see the actual real one, go to Jake's.
Yeah, pretty much. No offense.
Hey, I was trying.
You were trying.
I tried. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It doesn't matter anyways. But it'll just be timestamps so people can go through.
Again, listeners, forgive me, for I have sinned.
Gotta commit Sudoku now.
Yeah.
So, man, the show, dude, it's so good. Why is it so good? I don't understand. It's like, it's so fun to watch, and it's like I watch an episode, and then it's like it's gone in like 5 minutes, but it's been 20 minutes. And I'm like, what the? Oh, where are more episodes? Well, there are more episodes, but I'm not allowed to watch them. But I'm like, I need to watch more. I need more. This show is fucking enjoyable to watch. It's so good. It's so fun. It's like, oh my god.
It's casual, but at the same time, there's a bit of like really cool action that happens in part of it.
And they answer questions too. They don't just leave things hanging. It's like, oh, why is Ranga fine with Rimuru killing his dad? And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be your like subordinate. And it's like, oh yeah, it's like yeah. I mean, at first I was thinking that maybe I should get some revenge, but he's like, nah, it's okay. I'll be good now. He's like, because we're cool. And he's
we cool, G.
fuck, man, it's like it's so fun. And like the fight scene that happens outside in the line and everything, and it's like they're all like preparing these spells and everything, and he thinks that he's like Rimuru thinks that he's fucking toast. And then like goes into like this like kids type cartoon with like fucking cartoon.
No, it's like an RPG thing.
Well, it goes into like a kids cartoon thing with like these fucking crayon drawings in the back, just like
oh yeah,
just to, like kind of like summarize how like insignificant their attacks are on Rimuru, and they just like bounce off of him, and one dude like tries to hit him with a sword and just bounces off into the sky. It's and then oh my god, it's fun, dude. The characters are fucking endearing, and it's like the setting is really cool, and like the dialogue is good, and like all the like setups and everything is really cool. You think they're gonna do like some kind of like really like overplayed joke where it's like, oh, he thinks there's like really sexy elves there, and it's like, oh, he's gonna get there and they're all gonna be ugly and fat and shit. And then you get there and it's like, nope, you actually get a payoff here. You don't get some lame ass joke. It's he gets what he wanted.
Yeah, Rimuru was able to take a load off, literally.
I also like the little attention to detail where the elves that he was thinking of were like 90s anime looking elves, because that would have been the anime that he would have been watching when he was when he was younger, would be like 90s. Just because he was like 37-ish, I think, in like 2018.
Almost 40, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he would have been around
almost 40, West Virginia.
I'm ecstatic about this show, dude. It's great. It's so good. It keeps getting better every episode too, and it keeps getting more endearing. It's fucking. Oh, what do you guys think?
Yes,
I completely agree. You kind of stated my opinion and then some, so I don't really got a lot to say. I like all the RPG references because I'm a huge dumb nerd, and the whole thing with Rimuru's character. I know I'm being very general here, but that's because you went into very expressive detail with the plot. I love Rimuru's character like so much. He's just fucking just this dude suddenly thrust into a fantasy world and he doesn't know what to do. He's a slime, but he's also like the most powerful thing ever. So he's trying to. I love it.
And we've gone like how many? We're 4 episodes in, and it's like still no sign of a harm or any stupid bullshit typical isekai stuff that usually happens.
Yes.
Like we're avoiding like a lot of these fucking tropes. Sure, there's like the elf girl thing at the end, but I mean, it's not like he's gonna be always hanging around this elf bar and shit. And like, yeah, we get a little bit of fan service for like 5 minutes. I think it was. I don't know. It was like 4 or 5. And I completely forgot to talk about this, but even like the scene where he's helping out Kaijin, like the blacksmith and everything, that was really cool. Like Xhermp said, just a nice use of his powers where he can copy the swords using like his super pure magic ore. Blacksmith scene, really cool. Like Xhermp said, the cool use of the powers, copying the swords with really pure magic ore and shit. And Kaijin's like, oh my god, where'd you get this? And it's just like, yeah, it's cool. They're not forgetting about powers and stupid stuff like that. They're like, yeah, Rimuru can do this stuff, even though it's broken. He still remembers that it exists. He doesn't just forget about it after like 2 episodes.
See, I'm just gonna agree with a thick yes because I can't fall asleep lately and I can't form speech good.
But yeah,
I think Xhermp has autism.
I can't speak well good.
My opinion of this episode is there's this GIF out there from JoJo where it's this Jotaro saying yes, 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 yes. That's my feeling of this series and this episode. It's just yes, 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 yes.
I feel like M. Bison in the 1990s Street Fighter cartoon. Yes.
Xhermp, is that a big thick yes for you also?
Big thick yes.
Big thick yes. Yeah, that's all right. That's fucking. This show's good. It's awesome. It's fun.
But speaking of dead zombie idols,
speaking of shows that are fun, we got Zombieland Saga up next. This is debatable, I suppose, but that's my opinion. Twice is tackling this Zambo.
Excuse me, it's Nightwing, formerly known as Twice.
Yes, Nightwing, formerly known as Twice. He's tackling this Zambo right into the hot springs. So let's get into this.
Alrighty. Okay, so this episode, Kotaro comes to the ladies and he's like, "Well, we're broke, so they go to a hot spring where they have to perform. But first, they do a little bit of exploring the town, and they talk about what they're gonna do with their lives as idols or their unlives, undeads, whatever.
Wow.
And they perform. They do a big old perform,
And it's
and
the first like actually well put together thing that they've done.
yeet yeet, and then Kotaro's like, "Don't go in the hot springs." So you know what they do?
They go in the hot springs.
springs.
That wasn't a rhetorical question. They go into the hot springs.
Okay.
That's not the definition of rhetorical, but continue.
Okay, so they get spotted being Zambos by the company president, so she gets all scared and she cuts ties with Kotaro.
They're fucking out of money again.
Well, that was Zombieland Saga explained very quickly and terribly by moi.
Well, I mean, it wasn't as much as a disaster as Slime, but it was pretty good, for the most part. I mean, there's some things in there, but it's pretty much what happened in the plot, the main plot points. At
Hey
least.
Jake, you want to die?
Yeah. It
No,
was,
I think the viewers were the one who died in this situation because after your terrible, terrible, terrible speech.
this episode was that's pretty funny.
All right.
The little like I don't know, it's kind of like a just like classic zombie movie type like homage that they did with like the manager like losing, or not Kotaro, but just like the owner of the pharmaceutical company like losing her shit and running around the hallways of the hotel, and like the zombie or the idols and shit, they're like walking down each hallway and just scaring the shit out of her, and she ends up being traumatized and everything. It's pretty funny.
The foot bath was a surprise.
I'm surprised they didn't lose the makeup.
Yeah,
on their feet.
the makeup, yeah.
Uh,
So, like, I thought they were gonna do the whole thing where it's like, oh, we gotta get to our building real fast without anyone seeing us. But nope, they didn't do that.
I don't think
It was the episode was like, okay. I don't really have any really strong opinions on the episodes this week. I'm sorry, I've been kind of a nothing this episode. But continue your point.
I mean, fucking Kotaro's always funny. He has a lot of good lines in this episode, like he always does. I mean, just always fucking like abusing the girls and shit in like the basement. He's always yelling at them and what have you.
Gee, sounds like a funny, endearing character when you describe him like that.
It's just I don't know. Like his comedy's a lot of the same, but it's always funny every time he's like just like yelling in like some random accent and shit, and he's just like I don't know. He's a eccentric character. That's the way he acts. That's the word.
He's a character, all right.
He's very
I don't
eccentric.
watch the dub. But the dub actor behind Ida from My Hero Academia should totally play that fuck the character you were just talking about.
Kotaro.
Kotaro, the voice actor behind Ida from My Hero, should totally pick Kotaro because he could pull off those lines stunningly.
Yeah.
At least he did in my head and in my fan fiction.
And yeah, and your dosin or in your doshinjis too. We don't talk about those.
Mother's Basement made me write them.
He forced you, and the Crunchyroll subscription too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to talk about on this episode about this episode because it's the one that I remember the least about out of all the episodes. I don't know if that's
Hey,
saying.
Xhermp, what did you think? Isn't this like your favorite show ever?
It's good. I'll give it 1 floating head in a hot springs out of 10, or 5, 6, something. I'll give it something.
A light melon out of Anthony Fantano.
All right.
I give this
Well.
show a please help me. Mother's basement is trapping me in his mother's basement. This is not a joke. Out of
He's actually moved out of his mother's basement too now, which is false advertising on his channel.
my living room is
He's
what it's
just-
called now.
Yeah, living with his, I think he has a girlfriend or something now. Anyways, I digress. This the opening's good. This show, the opening's fun to watch always. I don't skip the open, but that's the case for most of these shows. Though, is I don't skip the openings.
Jake, please put the full Spotify opening.
Yeah, you see, I don't want to get
In the-
copyright struck, but
No, in the description.
the
Link it in the description.
It's
Oh.
good.
openings for all these shows, endings for maybe only like fucking Goblin Slayer and Slime, I guess. Or actually no, for Bunny Girl Senpai and Slime and Goblin Slayer, I think. The ending for Zombieland Saga I don't care for. Yeah, that's
Check me out on SoundCloud. Link in the description.
when I have to revert to the ending and the openings, I don't have much to talk about on the show. I don't know if you guys have anything more to say, but this was it was not as meh as Bunny Girl Senpai. It was more of a meh in this like same way of like it's more of the same. Meh.
All right, gamers. What did you think of these episodes? We'll start from the very tippity top, which is me, Nightwing. Not twice anymore. If you call me twice, I'll kill your dad. So my number one was okay. We're gonna take a little breath here because you're never gonna guess. Slime. Who would have guessed? I loved it. It was so fun. I love Rimuru. I'd give him a big old kiss if and then I would spit on the ground because that's gay. My number two is Zombieland Saga because I'd say out of the meh shows, it was the least meh. I had a fun time. I liked the hot spring scenes. They were pretty funny. Number three is Buddy Girl Senpai. I don't know where we're going from here, but I love Science Girl, so as long as she's still in it. And last but certainly least is Goblin Slayer. I don't like this show. Not a fan. I didn't hate the episode, but I'm just not a fan.
Okay. Xhermp, you list what you got? What's your order?
Okay, now first is Zombieland Saga because Saki is best girl.
Bullshit.
Second would have to be Bunny Girl Senpai. 'Cause I very much enjoyed this episode. Just plot wise, really good.
I liked the plot of Science Girl.
Yep. Third is gonna be Slime. Because I really like that copy ability and stuff. Fourth is gonna be Goblin Slayer. Still, it was a big improvement, but still not the best.
Oh my god, I just had an epiphany. Rimuru is Kirby, a little ball that can absorb things and is the most powerful thing in the universe.
I mean, you're not
Wait, what?
wrong, but at the same time, I want you to be wrong.
Like the mangaka was writing his
Wait,
his
what?
fan
What are those
Kirby
things
manga,
called?
and he was like, "Oh, Kirby is copyrighted by Nintendo. I have to write a different thing."
It actually came from a web novel, Slime, surprisingly, which was then adapted into a light novel, which was then adapted into a manga and then an anime afterwards. It's gone through a full like fucking rain cycle of adaptations.
Yeah, Sakurai didn't like it, so he was like,
Okay.
"Don't you dare!
What's
Don't
a
you dare use
single
my
cell
sign."
organism that like eats other cells?
It's
that.
yeah, sure. Anyways,
It's like
fucking-
it sounds
I know
similar
what
to
that is,
Enigma.
too.
It's that.
Ligma.
while
Sure.
we're thinking about while people are thinking about that, my list here is number one is anyways, I'm not gonna make that joke again. Number one is that time I got reincarnated as a slime, which knocked Bunny Girl Senpai out of first place for me just because the quality in slime just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And Bunny Girl
Exponential.
Senpai has kind of plateaued or dipped a little bit. Which actually is my number two, Bunny Girl Senpai. Because even though it has plateaued and dipped, it hasn't dipped to the point of being 3 or 4 on my list, and I still enjoy it. And I still think the characters are really fun, especially Tomoe. I think that she's kind of interesting, like the kind of like bumpkin type thing that she has going on with like the accent and everything. And like the nomenclature that she uses, which is very off for an urban setting in Japan. Number 3 is actually surprisingly Goblin Slayer. It moved up.
Boo.
It moved up past Zombieland Saga for me. Just because I felt like I had more enjoyment out of this episode or this week's episode of Goblin Slayer than Zombieland Saga. Not that Zombieland Saga wasn't fun to watch, but I just like, especially like the spike in quality that Goblin Slayer had from this episode, made me enjoy it a lot more. Number 4 is Zombieland Saga. It's not like, I feel like it's only down here due to like just like how short the list is and due to circumstances and shit. If we had like more anime picks on here, like if we had like 10 anime on here from this season, I feel like it would still stay at number 4 and wouldn't move down at all.
Yeah, my
but-
number 1 is Super Mario Brothers 2, baby. Game of the year, 5th
See,
time in a row, baby.
I didn't want to make that joke again, which is why I just stopped myself and just went for the regular list. But
Yeah, but see, I'm less funny than you, so
we had so we almost would have gotten a concurrent number 1 slime if Xhermp didn't have shit taste in anime. That's besides
absolutely.
You wanna fucking die?
the point. That's besides the point. Anyway,
I
Okay,
will
so-
shank you.
Gotta say, on my overall list of anime, I have 3 big boys that have been unchallenged for years: My Hero Macadamia Nut, The Dragon Ball, and oh shit, and the Cowboy Bebop.
yeah.
But Slime is slowly itching in. It might weed out Dragon Ball
Oh,
as one of my big favorites.
that's interesting. Okay, because that's like a titan of a series too. Shit.
Yeah, like I'd love Dragon Ball. I have merch and everything, but I
You
might
see, all
replace
of
my
these
little
beat Dragon
big
Ball for
boys
me
with
because I
Rimuru.
haven't seen Dragon Ball. So
Okay.
You know,
Well,
taste of shit.
that's the anime section of this. I just want to interject as we move into the next section here that we have like a few more days until Smash Ultimate comes out. Which
wait
gonna-
1 second. I'm grabbing the.
I'm gonna try as hard as not to let this affect the schedule of the podcast at all.
At this time, it's 3 days, 6 hours, 1 minute, and 6 seconds.
At this time, I want to main King K. Rool so bad because his playstyle matches the heavyset playstyle that I like to do. So
But yeah, that's we're getting close. We're counting it down. If you're watching this in the future,
5 days.
if you're
Yep.
watching
We
this in
should
the future
discuss-
when
we
when the podcast blows up, which it won't, then Smash Ultimate's already out. Go play it, you fucking dinguses. Unless Smash like 8 is out already.
we should discuss. We should
I live from the
discuss
past.
There's
some of those anime that aren't the ones we're talking about right now. Some of those big popular ones.
You see, there's one specific one that I want to talk about. Well, there's 2. One is very short, but the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that Evangelion is getting on Netflix now, which is one of my favorite anime series of all time, and it's really cool. It's been in like licensing hell forever now, and hasn't really had an official release in the West. But it's coming on Netflix now. Netflix got the rights to it somehow. I guess they just dumped a shitload of money on like Dynamax or whatever.
From what I've seen, I'm either gonna love Evangelion or hate it.
It's interesting. It's a very weird plot, but I feel like it kind of lends itself to people that enjoy. I feel like the shows that you enjoy kind of parallel nicely with Evangelion. I'm gonna keep saying
All right.
pronouncing it differently though every single time.
We got Neon Genesis, Ellen DeGeneres.
And the second thing I want to talk, which I know that you'll be kind of invested in here twice, is why is Netflix making a live action Cowboy Bebop?
It's Nightwing, bitch.
Yeah. My apologies.
Also, yes, I'm very, what's the word? Mixed.
Scared.
On one side of me is like, oh boy, new Cowboy Bebop fans can experience the 26 episodes of perfection that was Cowboy Bebop, and the other side of me is like, they're gonna call Spike Spiegel a soft boy.
Yup. Here's the problem with this is that I feel like I've been ruined by just listening to Steve Blum's fucking amazing voice acting. If it's somebody that doesn't sound anything like Steve Blum when Spike comes on the screen, I'm just
Spike Spiegel will be played by Steve Buscemi.
You know what I feel like they're gonna do though, and this worries me. I'm just worried in general about this project, but
They're gonna make Spike black.
yeah, and Faye is gonna be like some like transgender fucking.
What?
They're gonna make like
Yo,
Ed.
wait,
They're gonna
they're
make
making
Ed the only
characters
straight
what they're
white.
not. That's
No,
weird.
we're just theorizing because of how Netflix treated Death Note.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then yeah, they'll definitely do that. So
I just hope that Ed becomes a straight white man in all of this.
just like a 30-year-old man.
Ed's
Oh,
corgi
no.
becomes like a pit bull.
Here's the thing though. They have a lot of the original staff from the studio that made Cowboy Bebop, and they also have the director Shinichiro Watanabe working on the project as a consultant, which is like an honorary position more than anything, which kind of worries me. But
Even if it's white people playing the characters, I will be mad because like they should at least be Asian American.
I'm just I'm worried, and I don't want to be because it's cool. Cowboy Bebop is like,
Cowboy Bebop is one of the best anime of all time, and like
guys, we missed the opportunity to drag Lemon in here. He was in the Boys and Girls Speakeasy for a minute. Oh, there he is.
Well, I mean, you can drag him if you want, but I don't think he'll know what we're talking about. But
I don't think he'll.
it's we can try to kind of wrap this up and drag him in if you want. I don't know if he wants to be dragged in though. And he has
Spike Spencer.
he has the power to join if he wanted to, anyways.
Yeah.
But and they have the original director, but he's on as a consultant, which consultant means bullshit. It's like it's one step up from getting a fucking special like announcement in the credits or whatever, like a special thing in the credits.
Oh God, no!
Like
They're gonna redo the title sequence.
like special
in
thanks.
CGI.
Oh God, stop! You're making me worry about this more. And it's like, and they have the writer for Thor Ragnarok on this project too. For at least the first episode is what he's doing.
I'm sorry, writer for Thor Ragnarok. 80% of the movie was improvised.
Well, there was a writer for it, but I mean, and seeing how good Thor Ragnarok was comparatively to like other Marvel movies that have come out.
Oh yeah, I'd say
Um,
they could get Taika Waititi on. He seems like he was good at like matching the whole style of the Marvel comics, so that could also translate to him being good at like putting the ships and stuff on screen
What
better, you know.
what worries me about Marvel people coming onto the project, those are gonna do the stupid fucking dumbass humor that they do in Marvel movies, where it's like, yo, hey Captain, stop swearing, man. Yo, let's play the laugh track, and it's like really cheeky, like childish type humor, which I'm afraid they're gonna do.
I as a fan of those Marvel movies, like you will see me in the theater day one for all these movies. I can't see Marvel people working on a thing based on Cowboy Bebop and making it good
Yeah, and
because it's such like a tonal shift. Like every character would be written like Ed.
no, please don't stop. You're gonna make me have a panic attack. And
Dude, what if Ed becomes like the main character and it's like a Teen Titans Go style spin-off?
oh, stop. One thing I have to say about this is if they don't get Yoko Kanno, the person who made the soundtrack for Cowboy Bebop, on this project, I'm gonna tie my headphone cord around my neck and hang myself.
Oh my god. A Teen Titans Go style Cowboy Bebop spin-off would be called Cowboy Bebop Bang.
I'm okay, here's what I hope. I know they're going to include the original cast, but I hope they don't do a one-to-one recreation of the original series. Do something different. Do a different story or some bullshit. Like the episodic nature of the original series of Cowboy Bebop lends itself to having like more stories in between the episodes and shit. Because it's not like there's like a conclusive like linear story that's being told. There is kind of, but it's more in the background. It doesn't come until like the last 3 episodes.
You'll see on Twitter like an edit of Spike Spiegel, and they'll be like, "He's such a soft boy, ooh."
All right. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this anymore because I'm gonna.
Yeah, as someone who hasn't seen Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Cowboy Beep Boop.
It's I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm cautiously pessimistic, is what I am.
I'm kind of excited because even if it's a shit show, I'll enjoy it.
I'll only enjoy it if they get Yoko Kanno on the project to make music, like more original music for the series. Because my enjoyment of the show won't matter as long as I can hear that sweet jazz playing in the background while stuff is happening.
Another thing I'm worried about is whenever you translate animation into live action, it gets sufficiently worse. Like that new Lion King trailer is kind of awful. They turn one of the most beautifully animated sunrises in history into a generic sunrise shot. So
There's
I'm afraid they're going to turn some of the most beautifully animated action scenes in anime into generic shaky cam.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of also. But anyways, cautiously pessimistic. Let's hope that it's somewhat good, please.
Let's hope that they get Steve Bloom to play a live action Spike Spiegel.
I don't know if that will work. Have you seen it? No disrespect to Steve Blum because I love the dude, but like his build doesn't exactly lend itself to playing Spike Spiegel.
He's got like hardcore dad bod.
He's a very stocky build compared to like Spike Spiegel's very like lanky type build that he has. But yeah, anyways, I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything else. We're coming up on an hour here.
Let's talk about how they shot Nightwing in the head.
You see, I don't know anything about that. No, I don't think Xhermp does either.
Nope.
Well, let's not talk about that then.
But hey, let's just catch up on all 30 years of Marvel Comics, and then we can talk about that with you.
Let's do that right now. Okay, so in the 1960s, the Avengers started, right?
Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. This was episode 4.
Wasp and Ant-Man.
This is episode 4 of the No Motivation podcast. It was a little bit of a shit show, but editing this down will make it flow a little bit better. It'll still be a little bit rough around the edges, but that's just
now. Remember, guys, we gotta introduce ourselves as we exit.
That's just from us not watching this episode in a while, but we're gonna try to. Well, we are going to release this more frequently with or without some people.
Right after I get off of here, watching some more anime.
For
you guys.
Cutting it down to 4
gamers,
helps too.
I was Nightwing, formerly known as Twice.
I'm Jake, since Xhermp won't say anything.
Hi, I'm Xhermp.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a cringy outro, but see ya.
Call me Nightwing or I'll kill your dad.
Later.
I think that now I'd call myself a wordsmith, but not because of talent or ability. It's more that I can balance the facilities of living as a human while I'm sitting here decaling my soliloquies. And I guess it makes sense in that regard. I use my brain as a capture card, inhaling every word I stumble upon to try to catalog them all before the rapture starts, so you can tag along and follow all the wacky antics, like all my stupid problems that relapsing can't fix. Keep your head up out the sand and stop scratching that wrist before you turn into another anxious Ativan kid. Well, I guess it's too late. A couple hundred panic states passed and my broken self ran away fast. Feels like I lost my body in a hand grenade blast, with all this absence in my soul and I can't evade that, so I'm stuck, trapped in a painting of myself that was made before I changed how I felt. I'm hoping that my other friends can break out and help, but to be honest, it seems like they've grayed out as well. I constantly remember back to high school, sneaking out to kick it with no pay stubs. Everything was simpler then. I guess I only feel free when there's something to escape from. So I'll keep writing all these songs I'm longing for the olden, looking to the future for my confidence and boldness. It certainly isn't here and neither am I, but I think that we've established that enough to decide that it's time for a change, or rather time to revert, cause we all sort of miss the designs that we were. And maybe nowadays what I write's more diverse, but the Patrick years back didn't understand hurt, and that hurts pretty bad.